Scientists took a gene from pigs and inserted it into lettuce, creating the very first plants capable of producing myoglobin, the protein that gives meat its flavor and color. Scientists have just done something that sounds like science fiction. They took a gene from pigs and inserted it into lettuce plants, creating the very first plants capable of producing myoglobin, the protein that gives meat its distinctive flavor and color. This is not about growing steaks in a garden. This is something arguably more revolutionary. Myoglobin is the protein responsible for the red color in raw meat and plays a key role in storing and transporting oxygen within muscle tissue. It is also one of the proteins most associated with meat's desirable eating qualities. Animal agriculture produces myoglobin naturally, but it comes with significant environmental costs. According to the research published in Frontiers in Plant Science, the environmental footprint of raising livestock for protein includes outsized impacts on land, water and energy use, along with substantial greenhouse gas emissions. This is the problem that Alexia Groff and her team at Imperial College London set out to address. The team used a technique called biolistic transformation, which is essentially a gene gun. They fired optimized versions of pig myoglobin genes directly into the chloroplasts of lettuce and tobacco seedlings. This approach bypasses the need for bacterial vectors and delivers the gene straight into the plant's energy-producing organelles. After confirming the DNA had been correctly inserted, the plants were grown to adulthood and produced seed. Tests showed the transgene was passed on to their offspring, meaning this trait is heritable and stable across generations. The choice of plants was deliberate. As one commenter pointed out, tobacco is known as the lab mouse of plants because it has a well-studied genome and is a model species for genetic engineering. Lettuce was chosen because it is quick and easy to grow, serving as a proof of concept that the gene works in a crop plant that people actually eat. The plan is definitely not to grow meat lettuce. It is proof of concept that the gene works, as one commenter noted. The results were surprising in the best way. The engineered plants remained healthy, fertile, and showed no significant impairment of photosynthesis. One of the biggest surprises, according to Groff, was how well the plants tolerated myoglobin production. Myoglobin binds heme, an important molecule involved in many aspects of plant metabolism, so the researchers expected there might be some trade-offs. Instead, the plants thrived. This stability is crucial for any future commercial application, because if the gene makes the plants sick, the whole approach falls apart. In terms of yield, the technique produced approximately 810 milligrams per kilogram of dry weight in lettuce and 800 milligrams per kilogram in tobacco. That is considerably less than the amount of myoglobin produced in meat. The researchers note the difference in dry weight myoglobin accumulation is around 10 times higher in animal muscle compared with the plant yields described in their report. Nobody is going to reach their daily protein requirement by eating lettuce with myoglobin in it directly. One Reddit commenter calculated they would need to eat 120 kilograms of lettuce per day to almost reach their minimum daily protein intake. Here is where the environmental argument becomes compelling. While the per kilogram yield is lower than animal muscle, plant cultivation is far more resource efficient than livestock production. The researchers write that plant-derived myoglobin could achieve protein yields per hectare that rival or even potentially exceed those of animal agriculture, while also benefiting from substantially lower water use and greenhouse gas emissions. Another commenter pointed out that plant-based protein already far exceeds protein yields per hectare when compared to animal agriculture, citing Our World in Data. This is a fundamentally different way of thinking about protein production. The Reddit community had a lot to say about this discovery. Beyond the yield calculations, there was humor about The Simpsons 27 years ago when Homer grew a tomato-tobacco hybrid called Tomaco. One person joked about wanting addictive lettuce. Another noted that plant-based protein already exceeds animal agriculture yields per hectare, citing Our World in Data. The practical reality is that the protein could be extracted from plant leaves and used as a component in plant-based meat products, rather than eating the lettuce directly for protein. This research represents a genuine proof of concept. The gene works, it is stable, and the plants remain healthy. The yields are currently low, but the researchers acknowledge that further studies are needed to provide a more accurate assessment of how well myoglobin production in plants would compare to existing livestock farming. If the technique can be scaled and optimized, we could be looking at a future where the protein that makes meat desirable comes from plants, not animals. That is a genuinely exciting possibility for sustainable food production. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. If you found this fascinating, hit subscribe for more deep dives into the science shaping our food future. See you in the next one.